What is up, Adalo makers? Today I wanted to go over how to use Mailerlite, which is a service that lets you send email campaigns to a subscriber list. You may have seen the other kind of sister video about MailerSend, which is specifically for transactional emails like password resets and whatnot. But Mailerlite is specifically for creating subscriber segments and groups and then sending out promotional and marketing emails to those groups. So today, I'm going to show you how you can essentially incorporate Mailerlite into your Adalo apps. I've just got kind of the first class template here. But let's just say that when a user signs up, I want to automatically add them to my mailing list. We can actually do this really easily using custom actions. So right here, I've already logged into Mailerlite and created an account. When you first create an account, you will have to put in some information about your website and your business details and fill in some information about yourself. But once you do that, you'll have the ability to actually get into the dashboard like you see here. And if I go to subscribers over here on the left, I'm going to click on segments. And this is really cool because you can actually just have one account. Like if you're building different sides of your app, like maybe a home buyer and a home seller or an agent side of things, you can create different segments as well. So I'm going to create a segment here called just users, something like that. All right. And you can see that in this segment, I can essentially add or remove people from this manually if I'd like to. But what I really want to do is I want to use the API to add people to this segment. So over here in the integrations tab, I'm going to click on this. And then right here at the very top is this API. All right, I'm going to click use here. And to do this, I need to actually create an API token first. So I'm going to go in here and create a token. We'll just call this first class. I'm going to click I have read and understood the token requirements. We will create a token and I will copy this. They won't show you this again. So if you don't copy this to a safe place, you will have to generate a new one. I'm just going to copy that here and hit close. So I've got my API token created there, and we will come back and look at this JSON API in just a second. But let's go over to our actual app here. And in this form, on this submit button, I'm actually just going to add a custom action here. And we're going to make this say something like add subscriber. Okay. And then I'll make this a create action. And before I enter anything else, I'm going to go ahead, since I've already got my API key copied here, I'm going to add in a header here. And I know that I need a header from this documentation here. So it's telling me content accept or content type accept. And then if I click on this full documentation, you can see that it will tell us, let me get into, where is it at? The API reference up here at the top. Here we go. You can see that if I click on this authentication portion over here, you can see that we need to put in an authorization header with the bearer and then our token, right? This is very, very similar to many of the other APIs that we've looked at, okay? So I'm just going to add in authorization. We will type in bearer. I will paste in that key, and then again, I will put in a space here for that key, okay? And yeah, there we go. So let me just go ahead and hit done there. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and add the other two headers that I need here. So content type is application/JSON. And then remember that accept header we need to include as well. So let me just go back to this right here. Mailerlite API, we can see accept and then application/JSON for that as well. And you can just copy these if you like as well. Okay. Click done there. And then the final thing, let's go ahead and plug in this base URL here. And to do that, we're going to need to find the subscribers thing or the subscribers endpoint here. And I want to create or upsert a subscriber, all right? Because if they are joining the app, then I need to create a subscriber, okay? And this is going to be the base URL here. So we will just copy this in. The method here is going to be a post. And again, we get that from the documentation here. And then what I can do is I can actually copy these fields here, any of these parameters that I want. Okay, so if I want to include groups, if I have a specific group that I want to add the subscriber to, I can include those groups in this list here, or I can just leave that out completely. All right. The only thing that's actually required for me to actually create the subscriber is just their email, which is really nice. So if I wanted to put in fields here, I could copy this as well. This, name, last name, whatever. But what I want to do is really just kind of use the email here. So I'm just going to copy this, and in this body here, we will paste this in. I'm not going to put a comma here because I am not putting in any other fields to this, right? So I'm just going to add a space here. We'll close those brackets. And then I want to replace this value with the actual input here. So I'm going to add an email, user email. So we will add test@test.com. And let's go ahead and back this out. And we will plug in that input here. So user email with our magic text. And if I've done everything correctly, we can hit this run test request. And you can see that the test is successful and the subscriber was added. Now, what I need to do really is I need to make sure that I'm saving this data.id to the user's record in some way. So all of these other ones, I don't really need all of these. I can delete them if I want to, but really this one right here, this first one is the one that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save Custom Action here. We will make sure that the user email is actually the logged in user's email, of course. And then I'm going to go over here to my database here and click on users. And I'm going to add a property here called something like Mailerlite ID. And then on that same sign up button, the submit button here, we're going to add an action to update the logged in user. And we're going to actually save that Mailerlite ID that was returned in the add subscriber action that we just made. We're going to save whatever value that action returns into that ID. Okay. And what this is going to allow us to do is if we want to remove if we want to provide the option for the person to remove themselves as a subscriber, to unsubscribe within the app, we need that ID in order to do that. So let's go over here, and maybe in the person's profile, maybe there is maybe we've got like a toggle component or something, right? I'm just going to put in a button for now, but you could certainly use a toggle if you wanted to. Maybe we've got. Well, let's use an actual button here. Maybe we've got a button here, and again, you can make this look or feel however you want, really. Let's call this unsubscribe from email, something like that, right? And whenever the user pushes this, let's go ahead and create another custom action here. And instead of add subscriber, we're going to create a custom action here called remove subscriber. All right. This will be a delete action or an update action. So there's two different ways to do this. One is if you want them to remove themselves from the subscriber list, you can just update them. You can update that user right here with this status field. It says right here, it can be one of the following: active, unsubscribed, unconfirmed, bounced, or junk, right? So if you want to keep them in your list, just not send them emails, you can update the user. But the other option here is to just delete them altogether. And that's the one that I'm going to be doing here. So you can see that we've got our delete endpoint here. I would just, copy this in here like this. And actually, let me go back and let's grab our add subscriber. Let's go ahead and grab our API key so that I don't have to generate a new one here. Just copy that. Okay, now let's go here to we'll create a new custom action here. Oops, remove subscriber. This will be a delete action. And again, kind of the same thing here. This will be a delete. The header here needs to be authorization, bearer, paste that in. Make sure to put a space in between bearer and the actual key. We will put in our headers for our content type. Application/JSON. There we go. And I like copying this because it's the same thing for the accept header here. All right. And the only thing that we're missing here is just an input for the ID. And in this case, the ID is just a number, but you could certainly send it as a text as well. I believe, let's see here. Yeah. Okay. So the parameter ID, it is a string. Okay. And that's how we know that we need to add this as a text instead. All right. Mailerlite ID. And I will put in a testing value here in a second, but let's go ahead and copy this. Go back to our documentation. We'll go ahead and copy this endpoint here, the base URL. And you can see that the subscriber's ID, what needs to go here on the end of this URL is this, right? So I'm going to use magic text and just choose Mailerlite ID. Okay. So let me go over here. We will go to let me actually open up a new tab here. And let me get back into this. There we go. Let's check out our subscribers, and you can see that in our subscribers list, we have that test@test.com email that was added. And if I click on this, it's not going to show me the ID here, but what I can do is in the URL, on the end of the URL up here, I know you can't see this, but it says subscribers / and then it's got the number there. So I'm just going to copy that number, and we're actually just going to put it right in here. All right. And then we will run the test request. The test was successful, so the user was deleted. We will save that custom action. And that's how we can add and remove subscribers to and from Mailerlite. And you can see that right here. If I go back, you can see that. Let me just refresh this page real quick. You can see that the test@test.com user has been deleted from our subscriber list. All right. So that's a really quick, easy way to add and remove subscribers directly in your app so that you can, create a mailing list without sending the user to your website or throwing a pop-up in their face or something like that. Just keep in mind, it is always good to provide a way for them to unsubscribe from your mailing list. But I hope that was helpful for you. Mailerlite's a really good service to use for sending marketing and promotion emails. And now you can do that right in your app. You can add subscribers to that list right in your app using their handy API.